You're bitch. Welcome to my 24-hour, 1-year anniversary drunk marathon. 1 year ago today, I decided to start drinking and react to shit. Well, I didn't start drinking 1 year ago today. That would be a lie. I've explained many times why. It's because I was missing my dad. Everything you see me do with these reactions are the same things I would do with Dad. He and I was sitting, because he was sick for years, the last 5, 6 years of his life. He couldn't do anything but sit there and watch TV, right? So I would spend a lot of time with him, several hours a day watching shit with him, make jokes, make observations, pause it, and have long philosophical discussions. Literally everything you see me do here is what I would do with him. Of course, he would be making jokes and he'd be making observations too. So that's the only component we're missing. But then you guys will respond and leave comments, and so we're kind of getting that too at the same time. So it basically, I was missing Dad, and this has filled that hole in my life. I miss him less when I do this. So that's why I do it. Hey, future me here. Just wanted to add, because it just occurred to me just now as I was editing the video. I didn't just do this with Dad. I did this with friends as well. There's a friend of mine, Michael. He responds on the channel every now and then. And if Michael happens to watch this video, I don't want him to feel like, well, but you did this with me too. Why you only mention your dad? Because Dad's fucking dead. If you die, then I'll be waxing poetic about doing it with your ass. But you ain't dead, and we'll be doing this again very soon. As soon as the fucking, if the COVID fucking ever ends, then we'll be sitting together and we'll be reacting to videos together in person, not being filmed. Or maybe being filmed. I think it'd be fun if we could do a reaction video together. He doesn't have a setup to allow it. But anyway, so yeah, I'd do it with friends too. I'd even do it in a movie theater about getting my ass whipped. So just wanted to clarify. Like, it's not just that. It's just he's the one that's fucking dead, so he's going to get waxed poetic about. So just saying. What I'm going to do, because it says this isn't just an intro video, this is a video for this hour. I'm going to be responding to various comments and just highlight some things that have happened over the past year, interesting stuff that, comments and stuff like that I found interesting. So maybe you'll appear. Maybe one of your comments will be on here. My rule is I either give a comment a heart when I see it or I respond to it. I don't typically do both. So the point is, I want people to know they've seen the comment. So it either be a heart or a reply. If I completely ignore it, it means I don't know what the hell you're saying. Are you making fun of me? I'm not sure. I don't mind being made fun of, but sometimes I can't tell. Like, what are you actually saying? Like this one here. Don't do donk. It's grings. The hell are you talking about? Like, I can't even make fun of you about doing drugs or like, are you okay? Or they need the normal jokes the person would do. Because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. The hell do you mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So, like, what do I do? What am I supposed to do with this? Like, there's no thumbs up, there's no like, there's no reply, because I don't know what the hell to do with that. What person just be speaking gibberish, right? But so, I don't know, man. So yeah, I just want people to know that like they're not being ignored because like I love Lore Runner. He basically reviews Star Trek Next Generation episodes. He's almost done. He did Voyager before that. Like I think Monday's the last episode of Star Trek Next Generation. He does one a week, so it takes years for him to go through a series. But I never get the idea that like he reads anything. Like he gets 30 to 40 comments for every episode. He never responds to any of them. And he never puts a heart on any of them. So just, I guess the people are talking amongst themselves. Like, you never really get a sense he's there, right? Plus, he records the shit a year ahead of time. He'll sit down for like 2 weeks and record an entire year's worth, upload them without editing. He never edits them. And then so, like, it'll be a year before it comes out, and then it just feels kind of disconnected. And I know I don't like the feeling of being disconnected. That's why I don't leave comments for him. So I don't ever want people to feel I'm disconnected. I want them to feel like I'm engaged. I see the shit. So that's the secret formula. But so I'm going to get some comments in a minute. I just want to plug my Patreon just for a hot minute because I don't plug my Patreon in front of every video like every other channel does. I know why they do it. I get why they do it. A lot of people probably don't even know I have a Patreon. And if they skip an intro video because it's not a reaction video, they still won't know. But I just find it tedious because it really struck me with Jerry McNamara, whatever the hell his name is. I binged his entire reaction run of Fringe, which is 100 episodes, over like a 2-day period. And hearing him promote his Patreon channel 100 times over 2 days, I was like, This is how most people experience reaction channels. Probably 10% of people experience them week to week when their videos come out. The rest of them come and they binge the entire fucking series. Like, boom, I'm going to watch all the boys. I'm going to watch all the friends. I'm going to watch all the person of interest or whatever the person's doing, right? And so the intros get tedious when you binge them. And so more people will watch it after the fact when you're completely done with them than will watch them week to week. So I try to serve both audiences. I'm trying to serve the people that are here week to week, so I'll respond to what they say to me. But, in video form, I mean. But at the same time, I also, want to serve people in the future. So they don't have to hear the same crap intro every fucking time. So that's why I don't promote the Patreon. It really helps me a lot, because like I'm spending basically most of my time doing this. The other work is dried up. I have 2 other online jobs that I do, video editing and AutoCAD drafting, blueprints for houses. And the COVID wiped them both out. So I'm pretty much living on my savings right now. So like anything you guys, any Patreon really helps me out tremendously. So, but anyway, let me just talk about it real quick and then we'll move on to the other shit. So you can skip ahead a couple minutes, like I do sometimes when people talk about their Patreon too long. But for the first tier, you're going to get a bunch of old shit I've done. Like I did a season of Battlestar Galactica. I did a season of Enterprise. Right now, I'm doing Mr. Robot over there. I'm going to do the whole series of Mr. Robot. So for the first tier, it's just $1. You get Mr. Robot. For the second tier, you get Mr. Robot plus you get The Wire. I'm doing The Wire every week. I'm up to about episode 10, I think, right now. So there's a pretty good backlog. The third tier is $5, and that's Fargo. So you get everything plus Fargo. Now, for the second tier, the tier 3 and up, not only do you get like that shit, but you also get early access for like shit like BoJack Horseman and The Sopranos, stuff I do that I'm doing a lot of that have a lot remaining. I'm doing early access for Better Call Saul, but we're about to run out there. So you get a couple weeks ahead on that stuff, and you'll get extended cuts. Like sometimes I'm left with 2 or 3 minutes extra of me reacting to shit that won't fit because you can only use 10 minutes of footage per video. Sopranos, I use 2 videos, sometimes 3 videos. So if it's too much for 2 videos but not enough for 3, I'll just throw the extended cut up there. So there's like several you're basically getting 2 or 3 extra minutes of reactions, extra jokes and shit. So that's something I don't really talk about. I don't have that in my description box or anything. I don't know how much of an appeal that is, but it's just a bonus. Here's an extra. Here's some. Because I hate leaving shit on the cutting room floor. I've always hated that when I was doing movies, too. I feel like I want people to see everything we did, but some of it just doesn't work within the framework of the story. That's why you love being able to put that stuff on the DVD, right? Well, guess my Patreon, the level 2, is pretty much my DVD extra features. Anything extra, we're going to dump it there. For $15, you can make sure you watch 1 movie a month and 1 episode of a TV show a month. If I like TV show, I'll keep going. And for the final tier, tier 5, is $25 a month. Pretty much, I'm your bitch. Your bitch. I'm your bitch. Your bitch. And there's only 2 people at a time can do that. So basically, I'll be your bitch. Your bitch for $25 a month. Oh, I wanted to add because I forgot to mention that these are all exclusive series. They'll never see the light of day over on YouTube, except maybe in a marathon. Every now and then I'll stick one, like put a couple of Doctor Who's on marathon and shit. But for the most part, like, if you want to see me do Fargo, Wire, or Mr. Robot and shit, like, it's only ever going to be on Patreon. Well, and the main reason for this is that, like, most reaction channels, what they offer on Patreon is just uncut reactions. And I find those to be boring. Plus too much. I watch too many reaction videos to be watching 44 minutes an episode. I'm trying to just get the highlights. It's like, ain't nobody watching 256 football games a year. They see highlights of all the teams they don't like, and then their favorite team, they'll watch the whole fucking game. But, so, that doesn't really hit my point as hard as I thought it did. Anyway, back to the show. So that's enough of all that. That's pretty much what's going on over at Patreon. But, so, let's get to some comments. This is one that came just yesterday, actually. Will you watch Attack on Titan? And he's talking about his brilliant writing, gets better and better with each episode. And you can see I responded here. I'm scared, too, because I've seen it get strikes on other channels. The studio behind it is tripping. And that's the reason why there's several things. I'm scared of anime. I think Hunter x Hunter sounds very interesting to me. From the normies do it, but the normies got 3 copyright strikes, and the 3rd strike, you're fucking out. They're out of here. They will take your channel down. You go bye. But they are very aggressive about responding and appealing and stuff like that. You basically have a week to appeal before they take your channel. and they're able to get a couple of these strikes removed. You know, and basically you got to go to the person who owns the content and tell them, basically beg them to remove the strike and all that shit. And so I saw the normies almost get their channel taken away. They're a big ass fucking channel. They're a great channel. They're big. They almost got their shit taken. So it scared me because I'm a little big channel. Don't nobody give a fuck about me. They ain't gonna listen to my appeal. You know, it's out of here. Like I said, this is the only thing I'm doing right now. So I can't afford to lose the channel. So all the anime scares me. Now it's possible I would do some of the stuff on Patreon because you're not going to get copyright strikes over there. I don't think you can literally put up entire movies on Patreon behind the paywall and get away with it. I don't think you can. That's why I still edit my reactions over there. And when I do a full reaction, you guys sync the video up stuff. I'm not gonna test that theory. I don't. And plus, as a filmmaker, I don't believe in pirating. Like, I'm not trying to steal people's content. I'm trying to modify the content. If somebody was doing this to my films, I would not be offended. I wouldn't give them a copyright strike. Because I feel like they're modifying and accentuating the content just like I feel like that's what I'm doing to the content. Is I'm modifying and accentuating it. But they don't all feel that way. So, I'm not trying to get my channel taken away. So, it scares me. But let me know if shit like, Attack on Titan, if there's some other anime you'd want me to do. I would have to do it over at Patreon. But if a bunch of people answer the same thing, I'll consider doing it over on Patreon. Here's another one. This is from one of my Sopranos videos. I'm not even going to try to pronounce any of these names. I'm terrible at pronunciation, so I'm not going to try to brutalize anybody's name. But you can see the screenshot. We never discussed the dreams on this channel. What is the show telling us? Carmela driving, meaning she is in charge. Ralphie and shotgun, meaning he was in charge. But the grub turning into a moth is him changing into death. Tony thinks he's not in control by riding it back. But why is Gloria there? And why does Gloria get exchanged with Svetlana? Like, again, terrible names. The last dream Tony has in Miami, where Ralph spent a lot of time. But what is the deal with Tony and the masonry job? The house and the woman on the stairs. Is the woman his mother? It is very... Yeah, I don't talk about the dreams. What's interesting about this, though, is my plan was, and it's interesting he brings this up, because this was my plan, because I'm also going to do this with Falling Waters. My plan was, when I'm done with the series, I'm going to go back through the series, I'm going to analyze the dreams from the perspective of somebody who's seen the entire series. And from a writing perspective and from a perspective of dream interpretation, because it's something I've studied a lot in my life. I've read a lot of books on it. There's a lot of online resources. And I wanted to analyze the dreams of Sopranos. It'll be another video series I do. It'll be basically an essay series. I'm going to analyze the dreams of Sopranos. And so that's something I'm looking forward to doing. And I didn't reply to him here because that's a lot to put into like a reply. So I wanted to reply to it here. But yeah, I want to do that. I also want to do that with Falling Waters. And Falling Waters is a big job. So far I've screen recorded the pilot. I've done some preparatory work on it, but I just never seem to have time. But I'm going to get around to it. Sopranos is, we only got a couple months left of Sopranos and it's going to be done. And the movie isn't until the fall. Almost done with Better Call Saul. BoJack Horseman is half the length of time. So I'm going to have more time coming up. So, yeah, that's something I definitely want to do. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. And let me know if you've seen Falling Waters, because I love that show. It's one of my favorite shows. It's a travesty. It only got 2 seasons. And Josh420 wants to know, have I watched Tenet? No, I have not. And it's something I want to do, but also I've heard a lot of bad things about it. I've heard people trash it. So I'm kind of curious. Let me know in the comments if you saw it, if you liked it or not. Because basically 50% of the people on Twitter I follow hated it, 50% of people loved it. That always scares me when that happens. The whole... people can't make up their mind. Usually, most people think it sucks. Most people think it's the best thing ever. And that doesn't mean I'm going to agree with people. Most people think Jupiter Ascending sucks ass. I think it's a fantastic movie. But what's weird to me is the movies where the opinion is evenly divided. Those movies can go either way. I'm almost more interested in seeing a movie that everybody hates than seeing a movie everybody loves than seeing a movie where people like half and half. So, let me know. I love Christopher Nolan, but man, he's I didn't enjoy Interstellar, and now he's got this. And I never even watched that fucking World War II movie he did. The dude's he's on a weird streak for me. It's like he's wandered off in an area I'm not going to follow him into. Tenet's got me interested though. This is back when YouTube took down my Cobra Kai season 2 finale. They took it completely away. They wiped it. Now they'll block some shit, and you can still interact with the file that they blocked. I mean, you can still read the metadata, look at the comments and all this stuff, and you could edit it, if you wanted to. And I assume like they would re-examine it and like try to decide whether it should still be blocked. That's a block, but they actually removed this video because of child safety, because it depicted kids fighting in school. The funny thing is, the series, in this episode of the series specifically, first appeared on YouTube Red, which means YouTube Red paid for them to shoot the kids fighting in school. Then they hosted it on YouTube. But then, when I react to them doing that, they remove my video because of child endangerment. I don't know. But so this guy was talking about, did YouTube Fun Police remove the video? Yeah, not only that, they gave me a one-time strike warning, and they did. It was one of those warnings. I hear you only get one warning. And he's talking about, YouTube can be a bitch sometimes. A bitch. I hope they see reason and retract any violation on their channel. Obviously, you're not endangering the safety of anything except maybe the nation's supply of Fireball whiskey. You goddamn right. Fireball Whiskey channel would definitely block my shit. I am a serious fucking danger to them motherfuckers. And so for the final comment I'm going to look at is what's an interesting thing somebody was talking about 3 months ago on one of my Better Call Saul reactions. It's specifically episode 6 of season 2. This is when Hector and Mike have their first conversation. One of their only conversations. And at the time, I was so riveted by the conversation, I didn't make any jokes or didn't have anything to say for most of the scene. Really, I think it was a good 3 or 4 minutes. Typically, I don't go that long without saying something. I don't always put in everything I say. Sometimes I have a lame joke. Sometimes I have a very simple misunderstanding because I'm hard of hearing, so I didn't hear something correctly. And so that's tedious. Nobody wants to see that. A simple misunderstanding. Sometimes a misunderstanding when you guess wrong, I'll leave those in because that's funny. But a very simple misunderstanding, that's tedious. But typically I don't go that long without saying anything. But this time I had a really long pause where I was just watching. And I forgot to do a screenshot for this last one, and it was like 3 months back, and I spent like 20 minutes trying to find it again, scrolling back, and I couldn't fucking find it. So just imagine that it's on the screen as I clumsily read this shit. And yeah, I'm a dumbass. I thought I took a screenshot of it when I was reading it, and apparently I didn't do that. And so he was talking about, why'd you cut the conversation between Mike and Hector? And I said, I was so captivated by that, I forgot to talk. Literally. That rarely happens to my verbose ass. And he's saying, the best reactions are not comments. The best reactions are the spontaneous and sincere facial expressions when you feel what the series is trying to cause. Like your laugh, your astonishment, your anger, and your captive concentration. That's very interesting he said that. I didn't reply to it at the time because I wasn't sure, how I felt about it. I've had time to think about it since then, and I wanted to include it here. Typically, when I'm watching, because I'm a huge fan of other reaction channels, I don't think anybody else who does reactions watch other reaction channels. I think they just do them. I don't think they watch them. I'm a massive fan. I watch 40 to 50 reactions a week, at least. Because there are times when you're exporting files, when you're uploading files, you've got some dead time. You're sitting in front of your computer, but the computer is occupied. I'll watch that shit on my phone. When I'm eating, I'll have my phone next to the plate. I got the reactions on there. I love reactions. I'm obsessed with them. And that's what gave me that. I was like, well, I pretty much did this with Dad. I can do this on camera, right? So, and when I'm watching other people's reactions, they're absolutely right. Seeing a person's face, seeing their surprise, like, oh my God, that is something that's very interesting to me. But I will say, some reactions, say the actual reaction, not counting the intro and then what they say afterwards, the actual reaction with the video and, edited together, and what they're saying, say that's 10 minutes long, okay? Just the reaction part of it. There are people who only talk for maybe 3 minutes of that 10 minutes. Now, sometimes you're not saying anything because they say something and then you react to what the characters say. So that's okay. But I feel like, that's a bad ratio if you're only talking 3 to 4 minutes out of the 10 minutes. it's a bad ratio. Maybe you're not adding enough content. You're not transforming the content enough for it to be fair use. You know, I mean, there's that consideration. There are some reaction videos they say very little. There's just their face. I don't know if they're really transforming the content at that point. You know, I think that and I think that like if you're gonna do something like this, you have to transform the content. You have to add to it. You have to accentuate it. You have to recontextualize or interpret it in some way or respond to it in some verbal way. So for me, I don't find my facial reactions interesting. And I know I say I find it interesting in other people, I don't find it in me. Maybe that's a bias against me. But see, my problem is that I grew up in an abusive childhood. And so I learned very early on to watch my expressions, to kind of control my expressions and have a poker face all the time. Because if I would react visually with my face to what my stepfathers were doing, they would beat me. And so I'm not trying to be a downer, but this is just a reality situation. You know, that would happen because of my facial expressions. So I learned to lock this shit down. And so I don't naturally express with my face what I'm experiencing. I tend to have a poker face. Now, that's not always true. Like, a lot of times I can do shit with my eyes. People tell me sometimes, you know, my friend will make a joke, and there'll be some with my eyes, and they'll laugh. And, you know, so I know it's not 100%. I'm not a robot, right? You know, but I tend to have very it's like my dial is turned down as far as my facial expressions. It's all internalized. So, you know, I have the ability to release my voice and just talk shit without like it going through a filter, but it's like my face goes through a filter. I don't know if this makes any sense, but to me it doesn't seem like I'm ever doing anything with my face for any of this stuff. Sometimes I'll be drastically shocked, and I'll be editing. I'll be like, man, I had no visible reaction. Fortunately, I said something. So I don't know. I mean, I'm be curious what you guys think. Like, if you think like there's ever been anything on my face that's been interesting, I don't think so. Maybe it's just I'm just biased against myself. I don't know. So for me, I'm always looking for a joke to tell, and I want to tell the jokes, and those things are more interesting to me. The comments, the quirky comments. Sometimes I have thoughtful comments. Sometimes I have predictions. That stuff is more interesting to me than just showing my face as because you can watch the episode on your own. So I feel like if I'm not saying anything, you're just watching the episode. So I don't know. I'm curious I'd like to see some people chime in on this. I know I've been asking you to chime in on a lot of shit. You know, this isn't just, I'm not just begging for comments. I'm actually curious. I'm honestly curious about what people think about all this stuff. And, one more thing, if anybody's still left. I'm aware there is a daylight savings time, so there'll be an extra video stuck in here somewhere. I'm not sure where I'm putting it. Because I can't figure out, do you go from 2 to 4? Or do you go from 3 to 5? Typically people aren't awake, so they don't really know what specifically you go from, what time you go from to what time you go to, right? So I'm not sure, like, if I program something in my scheduling in YouTube, and I schedule for 3, but 3 doesn't exist this day, what happens to that video? You know? I don't know. I might have to stay up and find out, like, because it's a little weird. Like, I've never done a marathon where I'm uploading every single hour on daylight savings day, and typically people aren't awake at 2, 3, 4 a.m. to find out, so it's weird. We'll find out together.